As a fibromyalgia veteran, someone who has basically been diagnosed for over a decade and living with the symptoms for longer, I find myself giving the same advice over and over. So whenever someone asks me, either in real life or online, the same things come up again and again because it's inescapable. The things that I've done are the things that I recommend, and so I recommend it over and over. So this is the ultimate guide for those who are newly diagnosed with fibromyalgia or who just want help managing fibromyalgia. So this video is a compilation to save you research time. It's not what is fibromyalgia. I have a post for that and I can link that below, and that goes over the definition, the symptoms, all that kind of thing. But first, who am I? I am Melissa from melissaversusfibromyalgia.com and Yoga for the Chronic Life Virtual Yoga Studio. I have been sharing resources, information, tips, tricks, all that kind of thing for several years, all because I want your journey to better wellness to be shorter than mine. Mine took a long time. I lost basically all of my 20s to pretty poor health, and now I am doing much, much better. Now, if you see me looking down a little bit, it'll be because I have some notes. Memory is a problem for people with brain fog, and especially heavily pregnant ladies, as I am right now. So this video is practical. It's things that you can do. So I recommend that you bookmark this video, or if you're watching it on the blog, bookmark this post, and then you can come back to it again and again as you're ready. There's also a free download of these suggestions and a checklist, which will help you kind of as you work through them. So if you are not watching on the blog, I'll put a link to that below so that you can go there. All you have to do is click download. You don't have to do anything else to grab that checklist. And if this is the kind of information that you find helpful, that you would like more of, then please feel free to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you can get all of my new videos as they jump off the presses. So I guess the first thing to say is that I'm really sorry it's not a sexier illness. There's no one prescribed treatment plan that guarantees a cure. Until very recently, more people than not didn't even believe it existed. And even now, as we've got a lot more information and research and stuff coming out, it's still easier to find people who don't really get it or want to get it or believe in it. But there are many, many things that you can try, and loads of which that you can enact yourself, which is always good because you don't have to wait for anyone else to help you. So by following all the things that I share and have been sharing on the Melissa versus Fibromyalgia blog and the YouTube channel, I have gone from an average of 6 or 7 out of 10 daily pain and fatigue levels down to around 3 out of 10, depending what's going on in my life at the time. But it's been slow and it's taken a long time. I have researched it all by myself. I've included my doctor when it came to medications, but the rest has basically been me doing trial and error every single day. Because most of it is basically healthy living on steroids, things that we should do, but that we have to adhere to a bit more strictly. So the first thing I'd recommend is to become your own driver and your own advocate. So the number one thing that I'd suggest is getting ready to just take control of this journey, of your healing journey. Start taking notes or saving electronic ones, start tracking your symptoms, start just writing everything down so you can remember it. I'd also recommend that you read Dr. Teitelbaum's book, From Fatigue to Fantastic. He has a 2020 update, and Dr. Lipton's The Fibro Manual. These will give you a really good understanding of the mechanisms that are currently understood about the illness. The protocols that they suggest are holistic and easy to follow. Some of their recommendations you need a doctor's help with, and some of them you don't. But I could really stop this video here. If you work through one of these books, you'd be in good stead. But next I'm going to point out the key things that really have helped me. These are the things that I would start ASAP if I was somehow rebooted back to the beginning of my diagnosis, or even just at the beginning of when I was starting to get serious about improving my health. So the first one, which will be no surprise to anybody who's followed me for any amount of time, but it's low-dose naltrexone. low-dose naltrexone, or LDN for short, has changed my life. I've shared about my experiment, and nearly 4 years later, I am astounded at the change in my quality of life. My life is so different now. It helps with sleep, pain, fatigue, stamina, gut health, and so much more. Prior to starting LDN, I slept in 1-hour blocks, and I rarely achieved deep sleep. I never woke up feeling at all rested. Now I can get up to 15%. The ideal range is 12 to 23% of deep sleep. And so in conjunction with my sleep hygiene and the supplement that I recommend below, it makes a big difference. And the thing is that all the good things that our brains need to do happen in deep sleep. So I'll put a link to a post all about sleep below, so that you can look that up if you want to, and also a link about low-dose naltrexone so you can look that up. But remember, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of content, there is a free checklist. So do go to the blog post at melissaversusfibromyalgia.com and download that. The next is supplements. So there's quite a lot of supplements recommended for fibromyalgia, and the best way to target this and not waste money is to get testing to determine your deficiencies, because we're all unique and we're all deficient in different things. But one key supplement that most people are deficient in these days, particularly people with fibromyalgia, but most people, is magnesium. And the other supplement, the only supplement I take outside of magnesium at the moment, is recovery factors. So this is an amino acid supplement. Dr. Teitelbaum offered a study at the end of 2019, and I was lucky enough to take part. I got 2 bottles, and it helped me so much that I continue to buy it and pay the shipping to New Zealand. It's not a cheap supplement, but it is a good quality supplement. For the first time in my life, I have optimal iron levels. Normally I have very low iron levels, no matter how much meat or organ food or green leafies or whatever else I eat. I have not been capable of keeping that up, but now I can, and it also helps me to sleep a little bit better. So I'll put a post about that below as well, so that you can look that up. The fourth is nutrition. Now, I am not a nutritionist. I have no training whatsoever, but I have done a lot of research. I have read all sorts of books and research studies, and listened to webinars, and listened to the keto people and the Mediterranean people and the vegan people. I've listened to all of it. And the only thing I can say I fully believe in is a diet full of vegetables, fruits, and whole grains, and avoiding your own intolerances. So do check out whatever your own intolerances are and be avoiding them. But nutrition is highly personalized. The one thing that's true is that we need more nutrients and less anti-nutrients. And I believe that starts with more fruit and vegetables as a base. So that is a bit of a start for you. The fifth is pacing. So if you have a certain level of energy available, using it wisely is a good way to go, right? So you need to figure out how to live well within your current confines, so that you're not burning all the time. You don't want a crash and burn cycle. It's better to have a slow upward cycle than a boom, 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 crash, burn, crash, burn. Not nice. Pacing has been crucial for me, and I've actually made video trainings about how to really do it practically. And I share exactly what I do, and how you can use pacing as a concept in your life beyond the kind of normal things you think of when you think of pacing. So I'll link that below. Do check it out. Do start pacing. Now, number 6 is rest and the central nervous system. So learning about the central nervous system and its impact on fibromyalgia has made a big difference for me. But finding a way to counteract the insomnia has been really critical for me, and a way to get rest in the daytime when you are chronically fatigued is a big deal. So I highly recommend Yoga Nidra guided meditation. That is my absolute favorite. It's been a game changer for me. Being able to achieve profound rest when I need it is so important. It's not only good for me physically, for my pain, for my fatigue, but emotionally, because knowing that you can do everything in the world and still not get a good night's sleep and then feel terrible in the daytime and have no way to achieve any rest is not a nice way to live. So Yoga Nidra fixed that for me. So I actually have a Yoga Nidra video which you can try out. I'll link it below so that you can give it a go and see if it helps you. But otherwise, finding your way of getting optimal rest is really important, and that kind of goes in with the pacing, right? You do your activity and you do your rest, and if you rest well, you can do more activity. And yoga. Of course, yoga was going to be on my list. Yoga has been a big part of my life and it's made a massive difference. And as you would have noticed, Yoga Nidra guided meditation is a yoga tool, a very good tool for people with fibromyalgia. Exercise has been highly recommended for us, and it is great when we do it within our specific context. So it's good when we are using it appropriately and we're not pushing ourselves to the point of exhaustion or pain, because that just makes things worse and puts us back on the crash and burn cycle. So for this reason, I love mindful slow flow yoga and gentle movement, and I do like walking as well. In 2019, after years of practicing and adapting yoga for myself and trying to find suitable yoga to recommend to you, which I could never find, I trained to become a yoga teacher myself. And it was a bit of a bucket list dream. I didn't have any idea that I'd be able to do it, but online options made it possible. And so now that I have done that, my dream is to share the tools with you. These tools help me manage my symptoms, and they help me anywhere, anytime. So if my back is causing problems, I will just get down on the floor and do cat and cow pose. Or if I'm exhausted, I do Yoga Nidra or a breathing exercise. It's so much more than what people think it is. So yeah, how the kind of options that are involved is, like I said, gentle stretches as needed in the day, mindful movement as exercise, restful poses to induce the relaxation response, and that goes back to the central nervous system and rest. Yoga Nidra guided meditation, again going back to that rest, and breathing practices, which also help calm the central nervous system. So you can see how all of these things are linked, and how yoga might help us in the moment, but it also can help us with that kind of root cause issue that's going on. Can you see why I love it? That's why I go on about it quite a bit, and why I share as much as possible here on my channel. But the trouble is, most of us have been put off by one experience or another, or by the society's definition or image of what yoga is, and that's not what it is. So my goal is to share yoga that is accessible but also helps us with our symptoms. So I have quite a few options to help you get started. I have the free 5 minutes a day for 5-day pose challenge, the Yoga Nidra guided meditation download. I've also got a Yoga for Fibromyalgia sampler, which you can purchase, that has the 4 best practices I recommend for us that yoga offers, and you can keep those practices forever. And the Yoga for the Chronic Life Virtual Studio. That is everything I've managed to create over more than a year of managing my own health, my children, my work, the blog, everything. I've managed to put quite a lot in there, including bed, chair, mat yoga, breathing exercises, meditations, and much more. So there's quite a lot of options there to get you started. But the final part, I think, would be to never give up hope. Amidst those long nights of painsomnia, or during flares, or when something doesn't work for you, keep the hope alive. There are many things to try. There is much beauty, even in pain, and there is always something to brighten your day. So compile a list of things that bring you comfort in a flare. I like to compile a list of things that I can do in order of ability. So my last idea before just bunkering down to sleep is to listen to a familiar audiobook with my eyes closed. And this way you can just do something to bring you comfort and joy. So don't forget to go and grab the free download of the suggestions. They're in checklist format just to help you kind of keep track of where you're at and what you wanted to try. I really hope that this video helped you. Please share it with anyone that you think could benefit. If it did help you, if there's something useful that you learned, let us know in the comments below about the most important thing you learned or the first thing you want to try. And please do hit like and subscribe so that you can get all of my other videos. And don't forget to check out below. I've got a heap of resources for you. I'm sorry it's not easier, but I have made it as easy as possible and given you as much as possible. So I hope it helps.